arrêté par mon frère là, yo mange à quitter la vie. Apprécier ça yo ka fait qu'on yo a parmi nous jodi. Là c'est mauvais valet pied non nous ka crucifier mon épi.
Good morning, Dominica. Good morning, Eastern Caribbean. Welcome to another Creole Heartbeat program on DBS Radio. It's another wonderful, wonderful celebration of life and love on the greatest country on the face of the earth, Dominica. Nous avons une spéciale bienvenue sur Creole Heartbeat pour le sens sur Creole. Nous là, qui partager différentes informations comme ça qui est passé. Aujourd'hui, nous avons une spéciale émission. Nous qui partager informations comme langage créole là. Olive production des comités politiques créoles sorti il y a des mois passés puis nous avons parlé comme ça nous avons parlé un peu de comme ça qui est passé à ce KEC ça c'est association institutionnelle qui a responsabilité pour créole langage créole à Dominique et puis nous là messieurs mesdames bon compliment Digicel. We are here with the kind compliments of Digicel. We are also live on DBS Facebook page and YouTube channel. It's a privilege to have the former Chief Cultural Officer Raymond Lawrence already seated with us. We're expecting Sonia Akpa. As a matter of fact, she may just be entering now. Madam Sonia Akpa. And also virtually, we should be hooking up with Simon Mathieu. And they are all members of KEC. And we are really privileged to have a lovely Creole session. Sonia Akpa, linguist, she worked in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. She was an ambassador toute qualité. Ou ja connaît. Et puis ou ja connaît. Là où ka parler de culture, ka parler de ré. Là où ka parler ou pas ça parler de culture à Dominique et ou pas parler de ré. Et puis Simon Mathieu, very meticulous. I like the name. Mathieu possibly means meticulous. She'll tell us all about that in a while. But good morning, Madame Akpa. Bonjour. Ça ka fait.
Merci.
Tout va bien?
Tout va marcher bien.
Merci Akpa. Tout était bien?
Tout était bien. Merci, bon Dieu.
Est-ce que nous sommes Simon déjà? Good morning. Is Simon already hooked up with us? Good morning to you, Simon.
Yeah, so
okay, we still haven't hooked up yet with Simon. She's somewhere in the United States any moment now. Hey, Simon, are you there? Simon!
Wadix, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I used to know you are Saint House. But those days you are Mathieu, Mathieu.
Yes.
And now changé. You say go out doctor à présent. How are you, my dear?
Yes, everything is good. Tout bagay ka fait bien.
Ça ka fait nous plaisir là, live côté Radio DBS. Et puis aujourd'hui là, messieurs, mesdames, nous allons parler côté Creole, langage créole là même. Nous avons un livre qui sorti un des mois passés là. Ça c'est à nous apprendre créole. Nous allons parler de ça et puis nous allons premièrement parler de KEC. Ray, Sonia, Simon, tell us what has been going on with KEC?
yeah, well, good morning. Let me say good morning to listeners, to DBS Radio. Good morning, Wadik, Sonia, Simon, the staff of DBS, and to our listeners. We have been making a lot of progress through the years, Wadix. KEC was set up in 1981. This year we're actually celebrating our 43rd anniversary, thank God. One of the things I wanted to mention, Wadix, as we start off was KEC was, in fact, Dominica was the first country to introduce a Creole Day.
Yeah.
That was in 1981. And then Dominica was able to influence the International Creole Committee to introduce this International Creole Day, which was introduced in 1983, 2 years later. So that's a significant achievement for Dominica from the very early years. And then, of course, we started off with the dictionary. Sonia was there from the inception, and a lot of other people. The first dictionary. Later on, Marcel sort of did his own version of it. But now we are also working steadfastly on a new Creole dictionary, Wadix, that we hope to have published very soon, in a not too distant future, as we say. But apart from that, KEC has been involved in a number of different activities, events, publications. For instance, in terms of publications, Wadix, I wanted to mention that we have had other publications like Powell Creole, a book containing over 500 proverbs. Powell Caddy, a book containing over 500 proverbs. Me Bredex, containing several Creole expressions. Tim Tim, Glo du Bout, which focuses on and features Tim Tim expressions. And Tilis Twe Dominic, which carries and features stories both in, Creole stories that was compiled by Delia Coffee Weeks. And I remember we also did a publication featuring the contes of the late Lawrence Bromant, both in the Creole and in the English as well. And in addition to that, together with Cultural Division, we had published Creole poems, Creole poetry, along with English poetry and short stories. Bearing in mind, too, that we had introduced the Creole spelling bee for the primary schools. That has been going on now for about 13, 14 years. The Creole choral speech for secondary schools as another activity as well. We have been collaborating with Ministry of Education, and that too is taking a little bit of time in terms of the teaching of Creole in schools, but that's a sort of a high priority WADIX on our agenda. In fact, a pilot project did start, and it was a bit derailed by COVID, but then there are some schools that are still teaching, primary schools, still teaching Creole, but we're hoping that that program can be expanded. So we're still in discussions with Ministry of Education, hoping that sooner rather than later, we will see an expansion of teaching of Creole in primary schools, and then that can move on to secondary schools and other tertiary. But while we speak of tertiary now, UWI, the open campus, is called the Global Campus now, has been having conversational Creole courses. Sonia has taught one or two of those courses. The Alliance Française has also done Creole courses as well. I know we've done some training for teachers in schools in Creole, especially when we were going to introduce the teaching of Creole in schools. And there have been other things, a pause for a Creole cause that the Minister of Education had introduced, a 5-minute feature on Creole during the week and things like that. So the work is exciting. WADIX, some of it is taking a lot of time. We know the dictionary has been taken, it's over 10 years actually, WADIX, that we have been working on the Creole dictionary. The work has been spearheaded by Sonia, who's with us. But many members of KEC have contributed through the years to the compilation and the editing. Up to yesterday, we had an intense session with the Creole Dictionary. As we said, we're trying to speed up the publishing of this particular new dictionary that we know that people are looking forward to. But one of the highlights, which I know we're going to talk about this morning, WADIX, is the Anuapuan Creole, which was actually compiled and worked on, especially by Sonia Maglaw Akpa, Magali Celestine, and Charlene White Christian. And thank God we were able to launch it last year. And the book is essentially a teaching guide, a teaching tool for and a learning tool as well for those who want to learn the Creole, and then those who also want assistance with teaching the Creole. They can also use this as well as a teaching tool as well. So we thank God, for the achievements of KEC. We still have a lot to do, but I think we've done a lot as well. We have accomplished a lot through the years. Still have a lot to do, but the group is still going. I mean, as I said, we've been together for 43 years
43
now.
years.
Something that I remember, forget. Bonjour tout le monde, bonjour tout le monde qui a écouté DBS, bonjour tout le monde qui a regardé Facebook.
The inception of KEC.
Yes.
Wow. So
I
that's
think I
43
joined, yes, I joined the
43
one
from the
year after
beginning.
KEC was established. So I've been with KEC for 42 years.
2 years.
So
But
good
then
morning,
we remember,
listeners of
just
DBS
before you
Radio.
come
Good
in,
morning,
so let's just
everyone.
remember
Yeah.
people like Felix, who was
Felix
part
Henderson,
of the Jamala Fountain.
Jamala Fountain.
Arlington
There was
James.
Arlington is still a member. Arlington is still a member. Sinky Rabes was also a
Sinky.
member at the time. Aaron, Philbert Aaron was a member of KEC. There's this deceased Mrs. James, Alanita James. They were from the inception. I also want to remember Sonia Lloyd.
Yes,
He was
yes,
a very,
yes.
very active member of CAEC. But while Raymond was talking about the activities of CAEC, one of the most important things that we're doing now that he forgot to mention is the Mo Creole.
More
As
Creole, yes.
Espérance Creole, presque tous les jours. Mam CAEC ben yomo, yo ka yo ka faire phrase avec moi, yo ka expliquer comment nous ka ou ça écrit moi. So that with Kiwana Fountain
Yes.
has been very, very popular. So it's a good way for people to learn the vocabulary and how it is used and so on. Yeah.
Let's just delve into
Anan
Apan Creole. Tell us about that, Madam Akpa, yourself, a
Okay.
linguist. You have
Yeah.
been around in CAEC for 42 years.
Yeah.
And a very important guide to assist in terms of the teaching
Of Creole.
of Creole, because as we know, we have a young generation who is not that familiar with the language. They are not getting very much opportunities
Yeah.
to actually speak the language. And a little later on, we heard from the Minister of Culture at the last sitting of the Parliament, actually hoping that she could get the opportunity to speak Creole at Parliament level without having to interpret. So tell us how important this book is, and tell us about the book in its entirety.
Okay, Anan Apan Creole is really like a dream come true. There are 3 linguists, members of CAEC, who worked on it. That's Charlene White Christian, Magali Celestine, and I. We spent a few months putting together the modules. Of course, we got assistance with the layout and so on, the photos, and all members of CAEC, in a sense, contributed to providing material. But we've been, a few members have been teaching Creole. We've taught Creole. People always ask about resource material. So even while I was teaching UE, so for the first few classes, I would say, okay, we're not going to write anything. Let's just, à nous parler, à nous faire une conversation, nous kay commencer comme ça. But I notice people always writing. So if I say, okay, si moi di, comment oui aujourd'hui? Ça ok répondre oui, and then I give them examples. Bon, parce que ça t'y bien, moi bien, but they try to write so that they will remember.
Yeah.
So we thought, and even with the pilot project that we've introduced in schools, the teachers, they have to really make their own material and so. So we thought, let us prepare a guide that people can use. Teachers who want to teach Creole, but also people who want to learn Creole, and parents who want to teach their children Creole. Okay, so this is how we came up with Anan Apan Creole. There are several modules in the book that covers greetings, for example, school, and what is interesting about Anan Apan Creole is that in between the modules, so we have, for example, a module in the classroom, we have on the beach, Côté Laivea, and so on. But in between, we have what we call Mi Dominic Nu, which is sort of providing information on Dominica's culture. Okay, so there's a section on Carnival that gives you a history of Carnival, where it comes from, what we do for Carnival, and so on. There's something on local cuisine. There is something on local dances, and these are spread out throughout the book after each module. So it's not just, so for example, in Mi Dominic Nou, we have Danse Traditionnelle, and so we have a write-up on all the traditional dances of Dominica. Okay, but for the modules themselves, what the format it takes. So for example, we have a classla. That's our module 2 in the classroom. We give some vocabulary, everything to do with the classroom. Point, coûter, écrit, parler.
We can do some of it, live, because we
Right,
know, that is part of it. So
right,
that the
so
people
we have a
can
vocabulary
know what is
builder.
entailed. I see Ophelia, Sonia Lloyd, Simone. By the way, we'll get in touch with Simone. She's also here with us. She's doing quite a bit of the marketing online through Amazon, and she's also a member of
Yes,
CAEC.
absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so just module 2.
Okay,
Let us just
module 2 in the classroom, our class la. So we have first a vocabulary builder. We give verbs, adjectives, and nouns that are used in the classroom. So under nouns, for example, we have zafa l'école, had l'école, recess, which is a borrowing from English, by the way, because our Creole has some English borrowings there. Sida. For adjectives, we have pop, gua, sal.
No, but then as we
so
go
on.
over the words, we can say the English for them and the
Yes,
English
yes,
and the
sure.
Creole one time. Yeah.
Okay, so Zanfale call pupils. We have Sida is a pencil, recess, snack, question. On the verbs, we have apprendre to learn, écouter to listen, écrire to write, demander to ask, because we do give the English, the Creole and the English. So that's that. Then we give a little grammar. So for example, we have present tense marker is ka. And Creole is such an easy language to learn because it's always ka. Mwen ka pale, ou ka pale, nou tout ka pale,
Ka pale.
yo ka pale, zo ka pale. It is always the same thing. It's not that English where you have to translate I am and you are, she is, and so on. Ka pale eve tout bite. Okay? So we give the present tense marker, then we give the negative marker, which is pa. Mwen pa ka kopwan, mwen pa ka kuti, mwen pa ka ale. All right, we give that. We give some examples. We give the definite articles. So class la, ti boy la, ti fi la. It's always the same. La. It's always the same thing. We give the plural, which is a marker. So we don't add S to anything in Creole. It's say. Say zanfa la, say ti boy la, say teacher. That's the plural marker. So we give all of that, and then we have a lot of illustrations to make it more lively and interesting. So here, for example, we have an illustration of a teacher in a classroom. Okay, and then after that we give a little story. So we have a little story. Bonjour, bienvenue à classe nous. Teacher nous c'est Ma Thomas. Classe nous bien belle et bien propre. Classe nous ni 4 enfants, 2 petits boys et puis 2 petites filles. Teacher kale écrit quelque chose à sous tableau noir. L'autre petite fille a debout pour marder yon section. Moi et puis les autres enfants là assises. Nous ka coûter teacher nous et puis nous ka écrit en livre nous. So that is describing the illustration. All right?
Yeah.
And then we have a little exercise. So after you do all of that, then we have a little exercise. We give a picture and we say fill in the blanks to complete the following short story. So we have a little picture of a teacher and some students. And then you have a little exercise. Bonjour, bienvenue. They have dash. They fill that in. But they would have had all the vocabulary and all the grammar that will help them to do the exercise. Okay, so basically that is what the modules entail, and then we have expressions as well. So we give a few expressions that you use in the classroom. Parfait point souple, please be quiet. Chen class la net, pop, keep the class clean. Pas manger en classe la, do not eat in the classroom. Pas jeter zodi en la cour l'école la, do not throw garbage in the schoolyard. Conduit cause bien, behave well. Pani problem, you're welcome. So at the same time, it's also teaching the children, how to behave and what not to do. We're talking about littering and so on. So pajet is or the alakula, that is an important one that they can learn. Those little expressions that they can learn and that they can carry out. So that is basically what a module entails. And then after the module, as we will, and then there are other modules there. They have other exercises where they put in the correct.
We put in
the correct word. We have also, for example, we have some pictures, and they have to say what it is
in Creole.
In Creole, because they would have learned to shares, tab, sack, leave, and so on. All right. Then following that, we have our midom niknu, and after that we present instruments of the accordion band.
The Jimping band.
Jimping band. Okay, the Jimping band. So that will give you all the information on the Jimping band and also show some photos of the Jimping band.
The various instruments.
Yes, of the Jimping band. All right. Then we go on to another module. Right.
Okay. At what level you think this particular book will actually start the children? From what age to what age you could recommend for this particular book? Or almost anyone wanting to learn Creole?
Anyone wanting to learn Creole. I mean, it is good for children because of all the illustrations and the photos and so on. But adults have been buying it because there are adults who know a little bit of Creole, but they want to know more, and there are adults who want to teach their children Creole. So adults have been buying it as well, because quite apart from the little exercises and so on, there's a whole, almost like a glossary, like a mini dictionary at the back, where there are a lot of additional words and meanings and so on. All right, so it is, I would say, all ages. It is, we made it in such a way that it would appeal to young people, but it could, any beginner, anybody who wants to learn Creole, it is a useful tool. We have some popular expressions in there as well. Shepa Cafe Chat, Guamun Se We Made, Bev du Vin Bois Glonet, and we have it explained in English. So we have some
let's do it, man. As we say it, let's explain it, man. Okay, because we want to sell the book, right, first of all, and we want to teach people Creole.
Okay, so I'll just give you a few of the expressions we have, some proverbs. Chien pa ka fe chat, like father, like son. Fainéantise, c'est une mauvaise maladie. Laziness is a bad trait. Bœuf du vent, bois glonette. The early bird catches the worm. Piti a piti, and that's one of my favorites. Piti a piti, zozio cafe niche. Little by little, things get done. Pa chercher ça ou pa mette. Don't be inquisitive. Piti ka vini gwan, things change. Sa ou fait, c'est sa way. What you sow is what you reap. Another favorite one of mine, c'est l'argent qui ka fait l'argent. It is wise to invest your money. I always say that to my children. C'est l'argent qui ka fait l'argent. It is wise to invest your money. One we hear all the time, si bon, di bon.
I love
Something is good, say it
I think
is,
that's
say
one
it
of
is.
Waddick's
Yes, one of my
favorite
favorites.
ones.
Yeah.
One of Waddick's favorites.
Yes.
Another one, trop pressé, pas qu'à faire jour ouvert. More haste, less speed. Take your time. Okay? Yon la main, ka lave lot. We need each other. You cannot wash your hand, one hand, with both hands. We need each other. Yon la main, ka lave lot. So those are some of the proverbs. And then we have some popular expressions as well. Bagay show. Things are heating up. Back or ban. Back or ban. Help yourself. Get going. Do something. Okay? Bamwele. Make way for me. Bell beef. When you have a juicy story, the expression is bell beef. Okay? Then you have magwesta. What a pity. Me breadex. We actually have a little book entitled Me breadex, right? It's what it look confusion, all right? Or what confusion? We have another popular one. People say that even when we speak in English, we say that. Upa feb. Upa feb. You're not easy, okay? And then we have, for example, that one is very popular too, even in Dominican English, veimwe. Veimwe. Don't involve me, pass me by, please. Okay? Tapui souple, I am begging you. All right? So so all of those are included in the book to make it more interesting.
We'll get back in a while. But Simon, where can people purchase this book? We know we have both online and also we have in store, and the price for one of those books. Simon.
Yes, merci Waddick. Ça veut dire ça c'est pour moun comme moi qui parle créole, mais nous voulons apprendre langage là parce que ça c'est langage
Mama nous.
Après nous. Mama nous, papa nous, ça c'est langage à maman nous, papa nous. So comme ça c'est un livre pour moun comme moi, c'est pas seulement pour jeunes moun, c'est pour moun comme moi qui veulent apprendre langage là. And I really want to thank Keck because I've been a member of Keck for about 2-3 years, and it has been a wonderful experience learning to speak Creole. I spoke very little Creole before I joined the group. And I used to do this program called Sase Nu, and the number one request we always had was for the availability of content, the availability of books online. because as we know, McCarthy Murray just illustrated it for us that the population of Dominica is unfortunately dwindling. But when we think of the hundreds of thousands of Dominicans who live outside of Dominica, we have to ensure that they are part of our culture in terms of providing them with the resources, especially in terms of educating their children. So if the people online noticed at the beginning of the program, I was doing a lot of sharing. I was on my phone sharing the live to everywhere, because we always have people who are interested in purchasing our material. And what I also did is I included the link for the book on the Facebook Live. So if anyone is watching us on Facebook right now, they can simply click on that link to receive a copy. The book is $25.99 US. And in Dominica, I believe it sells for about $70 EC. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
Raymond or Sonia.
Yes.
But a very important tool. So what we also want people to know, if they're listening on the radio, is if you're looking to make an online purchase, you can simply go to Amazon.com and you can type in the word Anu, which is spelled ANNOU. I'll repeat that again. ANNOU, and you should already start seeing the rest of the words coming up. So Anu is ANNOU, and Apwan is APWANN. So again, APWANN for Apwan. And once you enter those two words, the book should come up. So just enter those two words, click enter, and you will see it will show up as one of the books. The title of the book should come out. And we also want to make sure that anyone who's experiencing issues know that they can contact us. So as you mentioned, I'm responsible for the marketing, the social media, the online sales of Anu Apwan Creole. So we want to make sure that you know how to reach us if you're having problems. So you can email me at pushpast10@gmail.com. So that is pushpast10@gmail.com. And what let me just add, we've sold over about 60 copies of the book online, and it's just so impressive to see where the sales are coming from. So we're seeing a lot of sales coming from the UK, because if we recall, the first set of migrants to leave Dominica back in the 60s, back in the 50s, they went to the UK. So we have an incredible amount of supportive people in the UK. So we're seeing a lot of the book sales going to the UK. We also have Canada, and of course we have the US, but we want to reach even beyond there. We want to reach people as far as Alaska. We know we have Dominicans in La Reunion. We have Dominicans far and wide in China. So in a nutshell, we want to reach the world with this publication so that we can continue to preserve and to advance our culture. So I want to say congratulations to the authors, Sonia, Charlene, and Magali. But just keep in mind, this is the very first publication of Keck, which is now available for sale online. And I truly hope that we can continue to put our other publications, including the dictionary, for sale online, because there's a huge market for our material, our content, in the rest of the world. So yes, we have to focus on Dominica, and Raymond always says, we have to keep the hard copies because the computers can fail us. That's true. But we also have to continue to reach the world by making our material available online.
Simon, where can the book be purchased locally in Dominica?
Raymond, I believe it's Jay's Bookstore in Dominica.
Yes.
Jay's Bookstore for only $70.
That's right. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Ray and Sonia, how important is the language itself for us as a people? And are we putting enough attention, and we're talking about general, on the preservation of the language? Because at some point in time, we all have to go to the wild beyond. Our children and our grandchildren will need to have them be able to speak that particular language. There are places, even in the Caribbean, where the language used to be spoken and are no longer available for people to speak. I know of Grenada, certain parts of Trinidad.
That's right.
But how important for us to continue the mission and even for us to evangelize the information, for one to tell each other, for one to buy the book and teach each other, so that the language can continue for generations to come?
Actually, we've been talking preservation of Creole language from 40 years ago. People have always been saying, language will die out. I don't see it dying out in Dominica, honestly, because we have been saying that for years. Yes, there's less use, especially not in the rural areas. You allez go Uketan Creole, you allez Vekas, Penville, Uketan Creole.
Scott said,
Mais nous chancer aussi, puis ni haïtien qui vini Dominique. Là nous aller la place, nous katan Creole. Même là nous ka marcher aux eaux. Nous katan Creole, nous ka parler Creole. So that for us has been a plus.
Le problème là, c'est ces genèses là.
Ces genèses là.
Est-ce que ces genèses là qu'a parlé et puis pas parler seulement écrit. Est-ce que yo ça écrit Creole là?
Non, écrit Creole, ça c'est un problème pour autant moun. Il y a moun qui ka parler Creole bien. Puis les moi ka teach you oui. Il y a moun qui vit moi de you ça zo ka fait ici. Zo ça parler Creole, ka parler Creole comme peut-être même meilleur passer moi. Ça zo ka fait en classe ça là. Et puis yo dit mais yo vle apprendre écrit. OK? So
parce qu'il est différent parce que moun ka apprendre ka parler moun ka voyer sur social media. Moun ka écrit et puis moun ka fait ça yo vle.
Ka mettre ça yo vle.
Ka mettre tout qualité bité.
Moun ka mettre
accent là yo vle qui côté yo vle.
Même si vous regardez ces chantiers, vous pouvez chanter l'église pour indépendance. Si vous allez Salisbury, si vous allez aux autres l'autre manière. C'est pour ça qu'il est important pour apprendre. Standard. There is a standard writing system, which is very easy. In Creole, one symbol is one sound. It's not like English, you have a, apple, able, ten tutsa. When you see A in Creole, is A. Tab, bawi, it is always a. Same sound, okay? If you see an, and I think we have some people have especially young people might have problems, is the nasals. Because remember, most of our Creole is derived from French.
Yeah.
All right? There are Kalinago words, there are English words, African words, but most of it is French. So the
also
nasals,
English words.
English, right. The nasals, like there's a difference between ba and ban. Okay, ban, mokale asiza su ban, but you say ba mwesa. So that I think it's a problem. It's even, it seems to be dying, or the young people have a little difficulty. But once you learn it, that's it. So for example, CH, all right, shares, shen, shy, shive, CH. It is always CH. All right. M is M. Well, let me know M. So one symbol per sound. There's no, nothing that will confuse you. So once you learn, and we have the alphabet in the book. We have the alphabet.
Let's just go over the alphabet for those who may, and the sound of the alphabet.
Yeah, because
we try to teach as much as possible and to make them know that all this is also available in the book Anuapan
Creole. Okay, so
but what is, let me just add very quickly. Nuka di Jen Moun Paka parler Creole, mais c'est pour nous faire l'autre Jen Moun parler Creole, pour Jen Moun appreciate Creole. So what I'm saying is, we know one of the main issues is that our young people are not embracing the language as much as they should, but maybe we should engage other young people. What about our performers? Nous connaît Esa Bantan sa parle Creole? Okay, so maybe we can use our influencers to somehow play a role to show our young people that this is something we should embrace. This is something we should be excited about. So we have to try to make an effort to reach the next generation so that they too can fall in love with our language and they can start speaking it more fluently.
Gordon Henderson, who was an original member of KEC, mentioned to me, Ray, just before we go over the alphabet, that possibly if the authorities make the language as official language, that it would have some, it would have some force The way it is now, it is like a language. It's like
Yes,
another language.
Another language, yes.
Because we know of the discrimination, in the 50s and 60s, you couldn't speak it. Your parents would speak Creole to you, you couldn't answer.
Right.
But then if we elevate it like what the Haitians did, and even in St. Lucia, it is accepted in Parliament, it's accepted all over, make it like as equivalent to English. We know we have to use English where we have to use English, but whenever we speak Creole, like in St. Lucia, it is accepted all over, including Parliament,
Yeah.
which is the highest. And he thinks we are suffering from diglossia, and if in case we can elevate the language with a policy that gives it that credence, possibly it may be more accepted. Because people will not see it as a second, as a passer language, but as something that we need to embrace. I'm not sure of your thoughts, Ray.
Yes.
Yeah, and that is something we're working on, right, Raymond, in terms of the national language
policy.
The
Definitely,
policy.
we're
Yes,
also
the
working
policy.
on a
National
Creole
Creole
language policy
language
as well.
policy, yeah.
And the policy will certainly help and play a big role, Wadix, in terms of helping to promote and strengthen the use of Creole in Dominica. And also, in addition to that, we need government to us, and we're prepared to work very closely with the government, especially Ministry of Education, to try to introduce Creole at all levels in the educational institutions as well. We spoke about the young people as well, which is the point you were making, Wadix. Although there are a number of young people, especially in the rural areas, that do speak, but there are a number of them too that probably don't quite understand, or maybe they don't speak it as much, or they don't write it as much. Whereas if it is in schools as a class, even if it's once a week, to start off in all primary, all secondary. Well, I know they do classes at the state college, so that's an achievement in itself. But I think the government can play a role in helping to strengthen the presence and use and life of the language in Dominica by helping to introduce and expand and institutionalize the teaching of Creole. We've been struggling with this and trying to push it through with Ministry of Education. We did the primary schools Creole. We've done things with secondary schools, but we need that extra endorsement and push of the government to have it as part of the national curriculum in Dominica. And let me say to Wadix that we have been having Creole in lots of ways, in developmental ways in Dominica. Let me just very quickly remember many years ago, Carnival time, we would be singing Chate Mass on the road. That was in Creole. You had Mabel Sissin Cordero. Since the 1950s, my eldest sister was part of a group. They were singing in Creole. My Cordero was all about Creole. Creole dress, Creole, expressions and Creole dance. All her songs were in Creole. My sister, Jean Lawrence Mathurin, composed just almost all in Creole, if Sifla Motain, La Jeune Étoile, I'm sure all of us remember. The whole cadence movement in the 1970s, Creole, from 1970s all the way up to now, it's all Creole. Remember,
Creole,
even
when
Ophelia sings now,
Creole.
a lot of songs of Mikhail and Gordon Henderson, Midnight Groovers is all, just call it all Creole. So we still have a lot, and the Creole cadence calypso competitions and so on. So we still have a lot of the presence and use of which develop into the World Creole Music Festival, promoting cadence.
We have very little
Creole
spoken
language.
Creole
Used.
is experienced, which is one of the deficiencies, because if you remember, Ray, at the beginning, it was very important for us to include the language because there was that Federation
Symposium.
of
It was-
World...
yeah.
The World Federation of Creole
Creole
Cultures,
Cultures.
where they would have the symposiums at the Arawak,
Yeah.
where we would invite Martinique, Guadeloupe,
Guadeloupe.
and we would
Even
discuss,
Seychelles,
and Seychelles,
yeah,
the language. Yes, the music continued, even if we hardly have Franco-Creole music, but then the language at the festival, even at Creole Day, seemed to be missing. The food is way there, the clothes is way there. We hardly speak the language you will hear some on the radio, but not at the stores, not in town, not anywhere where we celebrate Creole Day. So which means the language itself is not as spoken as it's supposed to
As
be.
it's
For
supposed
instance,
to be,
for me, the clothing, the wear
That has taken precedence.
surpass
Yes.
the language.
Yes, that is true.
You know,
that is true.
surpass
Because
the
before,
language.
when we started Journée Creole, the focus was on the language. So you go to the banks, schools, take up
Everybody.
Creole 2x2. But I think what has happened now, people are more concerned about the
Fashion.
wear, the fashion, and the cuisine. So, for example, even National Bank have made a suggestion. You're bien habillé, you're toujours bien habillé, at Creole and so on. Mais là où aller à la banque, est-ce que tant moun ka parler Creole? I've said, made a suggestion, put up signage in Creole, you know, just little things in Creole and encourage people to speak Creole on that day. Because you are right, the focus is more on cuisine and fashion. Mo baka tan moun ka parler Creole. You there, I mean, the schools, it have their little assembly and so on. Mais là, ma kamashia, la wila, est-ce que tan moun ka parler Creole pour journée Creole?
Non.
Pas ka je ça encore. So
Là où
really,
aller
it's a
acheter
whole-
des magasins.
un magasin.
Si c'est pas-
C'est moun la qui ka vendre toutes ces toiles là, qui fait tout
Anglais
la
yo ka parle.
C'est anglais yo ka
Anglais ka
parler ou ça. Ou pas ka aller yo pas ka parler créole, mais pour chi, the language is taking
A backseat over the fashion.
The fashion. The other thing I wanted to mention, Ministry of Education had introduced this 5-minute
5
course
minutes,
for
yeah.
Creole course. That's a good way to start. Mais est-ce yo qui moun ki ka fait ça?
Continue.
Qui l'école qui a fait 5-minute pause for a Creole course? Because I think the idea was good. Because the minister had said, drop everything you're doing and for 5 minutes, parler Creole. The whole school. Mais est-ce que l'école qui a fait ça? Ma quoi?
You te commencé, mais
You
you
te
pas
commencé, mais you
continue.
pas continuer. There's one school that I really want to single out, St. Luke's Primary,
So,
where
quite
Creole is
yourself.
taught in
At every grade.
grade.
Level.
Every grade.
From grade K or whatever, right of the entire school. And I really want to congratulate them on that, you know. But other schools, maybe one class, I'm not sure. But that would be a good way to start for the young people. Introduce a class, even if it's once a week. Bring the language to them. Let them hear.
I believe we need to, revisit
You know?
the idea of the Federation, Ray, and the reason why I said that, we have linguists in both Matic, Guadeloupe, St. Lucia. I mean, St. Lucia is way up with the institute. We all know of what Boots and these guys are doing. It hurts when I know we are doing work, but it hurts when if you look up Creole dictionary, first thing you see the St. Lucia and the nation, and you're not saying ours. I think we need some more visibility there, because although ours is similar to St. Lucia, but then just the word St. Lucian Creole, it's a little we taken aback. Although we can use a lot of the same, we use most of the same vocabulary as St. Lucia.
St. Lucia, yeah.
But then in St. Lucia, everywhere you go, at any time, anywhere you will hear Creole. In the shop, in the market, on the bus, you will hear Creole. At some point in time, Dominica was beginning to be like that, but somewhere along the line, we sort of lose it because we had that fear that it would affect our English. But now we understand the use and the importance of it. And especially what Mark Barry said about the more people are dying than births. It is more important now we preserve the language. Ray. Where are we with the policy?
Well, we have an outline. We have developed an outline. We are now trying to organize for meeting all the various stakeholders and so on. WADIX would want you to be part of that as well, and to get the necessary funding, because it's going to take funds as well to organize those stakeholder meetings, and also to be able to compensate the specialists who will be assisting with the actual drafting of the policy itself. But the process has begun. The process is moving forward. A lot of the work of KEC, WADIX, as probably people would realize, is tedious. It takes time. You have to be at it all the time, on a continuous basis, sometimes for months, sometimes for years.
Who pays the work that goes into the preservation, because this is very important.
Nobody
No, but it's important that people
voluntary
know
work.
it's voluntary work.
voluntary work.
Wadix, you
And
have
that
any
is why
ideas
we-
for payments?
No, but
But
that is why
voluntary
possibly
work.
every home, all after all this work goes into this. That is why every single home in Dominica and where Dominicans reside should have a copy of this. And whenever the dictionary comes out.
Yep.
Because for one to dedicate hundreds of hours towards this and put this together, put the dictionary together for how many years, every Dominican household, the least they could do is possible to purchase it and to teach your children. I'm very excited, Ray, about the policy, because I figure by then we'll be able to have Creole at the level of Parliament.
Yes, it would certainly help to give guidance, a sort of a roadmap on all various uses of and promotion of Creole in all various sectors of Dominica's life and Dominica's development. So that I think would be the importance and value of having a policy. But with the policy now, you have to have, this has to be followed with the implementation. So, because a policy, Wadix, as
It's
we
a
all know, is
document.
a document.
Yeah.
And we can put it on a shelf and leave it
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
and don't do anything
It's
about
the
it. In fact,
implementation.
there are cases
Implementation.
where I know there we have policies before, not in culture, and it happens. So we have to ensure that when we do have that Creole policy, that it is followed with action. As they say, action speaks louder than words. We have to put things in place. The government has to assist, and not just the government alone. The media has been doing a good job, especially DBS, Wadix, yourself. There are a number of persons who are and institutions involved in helping to promote the Creole. But of course, a lot more can be done. So we have to try to move from one level to the next level in terms of promoting Creole. But it takes everybody. It takes all the different government, private sector, it takes the public at large, the schools, the young people, everybody to be involved in helping to play their role. And as I said, I think the teaching of the Creole in schools would help so that children, when they leave primary school, they would have an understanding and knowledge how to speak and how to write, even if it's not fluently, but they have a good command. And the same for secondary schools. When they do leave, if they have Creole being taught in every form until you leave. When you leave school, then you have
Of course.
a certain command and understanding and appreciation. Because, Wadix, as we know, you can now get degrees in Creole,
Yes,
in
in
Martinique,
Martinique.
for instance.
I understand it in
Up
Guadeloupe
to
also.
PhD, I understand.
Yeah.
Up to PhD. So in a sense, maybe the primary and the lower levels have not caught up yet with the higher, because here it is, you can do a master's, you can do a PhD, and so in Creole, which means that you have to start strengthening the use of and understanding of the Creole right from the root, from the level of.
Because just recently in Guadeloupe, I met a few linguists in Guadeloupe, and they were prepared to come down. I think I mentioned that to you, Ray. They were prepared to come down to have discussions and symposiums on the language from the Guadeloupe end, to have discussions with us in Keck, so we can discuss how we can further. Because right now they are taking the language to a different level.
High level, yeah.
They also go through the same similarities in terms of discrimination against the language, but then the acceptance and the understanding and how important it is for them. They are now really bringing that down to their children and bringing the Creole language to the level of the French language right now in Guadeloupe. It's accepted now all over.
It's a status.
It's
It's been
accepted.
given status.
Yes,
Whereas-
accepted.
Whereas, as you say, like you say here, it's like it's just another language.
Yes.
You look at things on Dominic, say English is the official language, but a French Creole is spoken, or something like it's this other
And
thing,
it also make it
you
look like
know?
it's
So
somehow like a dialect,
Yes,
you
yes.
know.
So as you say, the status of
Yes,
the language
we
needs
need
to be
we
elevated.
need to elevate it,
We need to be
and
elevated.
signage. For instance, every
That's it.
community.
Yeah.
Bienvenue à Ozo.
Right. All of those things would help.
Bienvenue à l'hôpital.
Yes. Yeah.
Chinois bagay, you know, and you have the English, and you see the same way you go lots of places, you have the English under, and you have the Creole.
Yeah, all of that could help.
So,
Signage.
then you could, children started to see and notice and started, the awareness is built. But we promise the viewers and listeners that we're going to go over the alphabet and the sound.
Okay, very quickly.
Because that is very important.
Yes,
in the
all right, so we have the A sound, which is as in tab. Then you have the I'm going to look at the vowels first.
Yeah.
You have the I as in fig. Okay.
So
fig.
you say the pronunciation
E
first,
as
and then you
E.
give an example.
Yes. So A tab. Then you have E fig. Then you have the O as in bowl. Okay. Or po. Then but we have the accents, and some people think that the accents are a problem, but the accent is really to distinguish the sound. So the E, for example, you have two E's, one with a grave accent, one with an acute accent. One. Okay, so one is the sound E, as in bear, fair, fet, and so on, and the other one is A, lay, call. Okay, me, te. So that distinguishes it. Where I think we spoke about the problems of the nasal is like, for example, on is one sound. So when you see on, is not on, it's on, won, pon. Okay?
Like pon cassé.
Like pon cassé. So the on is one sound. Fon collé. Right, Radix, you have it right. The an is also one sound. As I said, ban, as in a bench. Okay? Then you have the O with a grave accent, which distinguishes. So you have O as in po and mo, but you also have the O sound, and that's why we put the accent. All right. So you have more, that would be an accent, right? So that distinguishes it. Now the other letters like B, D, F, G, H, and so on are using very much the same way as the English language, the K, the L, the M. The other one thing I wanted to look at is that there are what we call combination letters. So CH is one sound. Chat, chive, chewi, chien, CH. As opposed to TJ. TJ is one sound. You have CH, as I said, chien, but you have the TJ, which is ch. All right? So shen is what I wear in my neck. But chen, mokabausa, chen li ba mwe, hold it. Che mwe. All right? So, yes. Che mwe, ch. All right? Chwit. Manger a chwit. So, ch. The DJ is another combination. Bakasati je bien. Jodi la. J is a harder sound. Jewi is DJ. Je is jep. All right, jep. You get the difference between the J as opposed to sh. All right. Another combination sound is the NG. That one is also poses some problem. Lang, ng. We have a lot of that. Lang. What another one? But it is the NG song. Ng. Even when we say ngailaba for mweka ali, okay. Ngapali is NG. That's the sound. All right. Now the other letters are pretty much straightforward. The P, pon, R, radio, and we don't have a lot of R's in Creole. Wherever the French had R, nous mettez W. Wa. Okay. So reste has become wete. All right. Ren, as in queen, has become wen. So there's a lot of W's. What's that?
Wozo.
Right. Wozo. That's a good one. Wozo. All right. So a lot of W's and the very little R's. The S is same thing. Sak, sukwe, sanu. The S straightforward. T, tifi, tab, tombe, same T. V is the same. Ve, vini, voe. All right, and the Z, Zozio, Zaboka. So you see, so it's on one song. Each symbol, one song.
Before you leave, just go over the contents so that our listeners and viewers
all right, so the
can have an idea of what's entailed.
So we have a little introduction and we have the modules. We have the writing system. Then we have the modules. We have greetings in the classroom. We have making friends, family. We have days of the week. We have parts of the body. We have something on at the home, Akaila. We have something on clothing, hard, at the market, at the shop. We have something on Bodlame, the beach, and the river, by the river. We have vocab, something on the being in the tongue. We have the weather, which is very important. And then for the modules on the Dominican culture, we have music, we have cuisine, we have dance, we have traditional games, jouer à temps longtemps. We have something on carnival, we have something on clothing, the dances, and so on. So briefly. But before we think, I just want to mention the people who really made this possible, because it's not just the three linguists. Jordan Jerome was instrumental. Our cover was done by Jordan Jerome. We had the editors, Delia, Arlington, Gregory, Raymond, and other members of KEC. The layout was done by Merita Hyacinth. And the photos, all the beautiful photos we have in there were from Chad Ambo, Discover Division of Culture, DDA, Ministry of Education, DFC, Arlington James, Jordan Jerome, Gregory Rabis. Okay, I hope I have mentioned everyone. And of course, we got some funding to put this together from the Embassy of France. And we just want to say thanks to the Embassy of France for making this possible, because nous besoin l'argent pour faire un livre comme ça. Et puis quelques pani gel l'argent. So
Quelques pani l'argent.
Quelques pani l'argent.
Yeah, well, if I can add very quickly, I'm happy as the question about funding for KEC, because this is one of the ways that we're funding the other initiatives of KEC. So we're not asking for donations, we're asking folks to get a copy of the book. And this is only the beginning, because what we're going to do, we're lucky to have, as a member of KEC, the very first Dominican to own a master's degree in Creole, Miss Selena Luke. And we're going to take this to the next level by beginning Creole lessons via Facebook. So that is something that we're working on to bring the book into life. So I'm so grateful for everyone on Facebook who is saying that they're going to get copies. As the media person for KEC, I'm going to come back and respond to all your comments. So thank you for posting them. And I also want to thank your technician for posting the link to the book, to pin in the link of the book on the Facebook Live so that folks can get it. So again, for those listening via radio, go to Amazon.com and type in N-A-N-N-O-U, Anu. Apwan is A-P-W-A-N-N. And it should come up. If you're having any difficulties, again, you can email me at pushpast10@gmail.com. And Wadix, I just want to thank you for having us on, because you, as a member of KEC, you continue to do the great work. Congratulations on being a cultural ambassador. So thank you, as a member of KEC, for continuing the great work that you're doing.
Merci, April. Thank you very much, Simon. Final words, Madam Akpa, and then Ray.
Okay, my final words, again, we have made this possible. Gayen livla, anou apwan Creole, anou moutez enfants nou kouma parler Creole. It is important for us to preserve the language. And I just want to mention also our illustrations. Some of it was done by Dr. Lennox Honeychurch, Aaron Hamilton, and Elise Valerie. Konsa anou apwan Creole.
Okay, Ray, final words.
And then, well, we are trying, Wadix, as we have expressed, and we would like the cooperation and continued collaboration, as I said, of government, private sector, members of the public, people who are listening in the field, they can help, or they want to join KEC, the education, Ministry of Education, the schools. Everybody can help and play a role in helping to promote and keep this language alive. It's a beautiful language, very important part of our culture, our heritage, our identity as Creole people. The language is a very important part of our identity. So we have to preserve and we have to keep promoting this language and keeping it alive through all our efforts, including the efforts of KEC.
Thank you very much, Ray, Madame
Wadix, travail là ou ka fait là. Merci Wadix, merci en pile.
Ok, messieurs, mesdames, c'est là nous avons dit au revoir, bye bye, Dédé. Donc là encore, semaine prochaine, messieurs, mesdames, à sur d'autres émissions de Creole Heartbeat pour Station Creole. Moi, c'est Wadix, je vais vous parler, messieurs, au cas où qui coule back à monsieur notre navigé. Donc, nous, DJ Hello Boy, take it away, nous, nous encore, messieurs, mesdames.
Before God and all mankind, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the Commonwealth of Dominica and the sovereign republic for which it stands. My love, my loyalty, and skills in the service of